Ladies and gentlemen, welcome poolside to the 2023 Chuck Jones Gallery Comic-Con exclusive. I'm here with our best friend, Mr. Fabio Napoleoni. Cheers, my man.
Thank you,
I would
sir.
say
Thank
that
you.
you are in a far more, you have an elegant background. You're on a boat with a glass of Merlot. Is that correct?
Yes, glass of Merlot. I wouldn't say glass. It's more of a
Goblet.
plastic, but I am in Maine, so it's very fitting.
It is. It is. And
That is how we.
in
That's
true
how we
Florida
roll.
man, I love it. And you're classy. I am the reverse of that. And I am sitting in my pool in a t-shirt with two Mike's Hard Lemonades combined mixed into a Spider-Man cup with some ice. So cheers, my man. Again,
Classy,
our
classy
annual.
is. We're keeping it classy.
And notice that I did not have to worry about the pasties. I just went ahead and just covered it because let me tell you, there's the hair here has migrated down and it'd be like ripping a Band-Aid off fur. We're not doing that. I love you, man, but I can't do that. So what's awesome about this year is we're back for Comic-Con and we have our annual Comic-Con show for the Chuck Jones folks, and we get to just nerd out. We get to mash stuff up. We get some totally unique pieces that come out, and they just let us run wild. And I love that about this. And while we are in San Diego, and some of us live there, and some of us in Maine on a boat, we are bringing you some wicked awesome
Sure.
pieces and just some fun stories. So I did not realize, as I was told, that you've been doing this with them for like 12 years now. 12
Yeah,
years.
it's crazy, and it's one of the things I look forward to every year. Like I don't do superheroes or anything like that. I don't do any of the Chuck Jones stuff unless I get an email from Scott with a list of the things that I can do. So then I take full advantage of that and I have fun with it. But yeah, that's the only time, and I feel that's probably a good thing because then it every other gallery would want some of that, and by just keeping it to these guys, it keeps it fresh and fun every year.
I totally agree. I love the fact that they pretty much let you off the chain and it's free reign.
100%.
And we have our nerd subjects that we all this stuff. So to kind of dive in and then combine it, especially when you combine it with your characters, and then you take some of your characters, you combine them with the Looney Tunes stuff, you come up with these wicked mashups the whole time. I did lose out on a couple and quite upset because I didn't hit the buy button in the first 3 seconds. If I would have done 2, it would have been mine. So we're going to change that this year. And hopefully Scott Dickin gives me the inside info, which don't worry, folks. I don't actually have an inside info. I'm just saying that for this. Scott, wink, wink, in case something happens. So I love this. And what I wanted to get into on your pieces was when you were thinking, when they were like, hey, Comic-Con, and you were like, yep. What was it there's so many shows, the streaming and everything they're pumping out with. They've got the films, you've got streaming shows now. A lot of our characters are coming to life in different formats that are just in large part blowing me away, and it gives me, like food and fuel to be able to create something else that you're like, oh, you could totally do this. What are some things when you knew you were doing Comic-Con this year that you were like, man, I want to do this?
Well, there was one piece I wanted to do, and I did a digital sketch of it, and I posted it out there, and the response to it was off the chain crazy. And I know that Scott Dickin has received emails over it, so there is one version of that here. There is a painting of it being done in Orlando, back in my studio, that down possibly towards the fall, once it gets completed, it will be given to Chuck Jones for them to see who wants it. This is just a character in I believe the Mandalorian, and there's actually 2 characters here, Mandalorian and the Boba Fett series. And then there's some films that are coming out of 2 characters that are coming together in a film that no one thought was going to happen, but it is. I have your
Shut up.
Snoopies. I have your Snoopies. which is I think it's a theme every year, whether I decide to do a Snoopy or not. I think this is the first year where I wasn't asked if I was doing a Snoopy. So there are two here. Typically, I think one with a Snoopy, but there's two. I also have some Chuck Jones characters and a couple mashups of Star Wars.
So
So
I don't know what you want to start with, but you mentioned two characters nobody thought would come together. I don't know. I only know what
start with
news is dropped. I mean, I'll let you start with. So let me get to this real quick before we get into this.
Yeah.
Over the last 12 years, what are some pieces? Son, Daddy is recording a video right now. I am in the pool recording a video right now. Scott Ryder, don't cut this out. You just need to stay over there. All right. It's either him or it's the pig. All right. So
yeah.
So over the last 12 years. Now, obviously, it's kind of like all your babies, right? You're like, oh, which one's your favorite? But are there some look backs to where you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I pulled that off. Like I did this character, and you look back and you're like, it was the right moment, the right time. It just fit.
There is one, and I poop you not, my friend. The minute I started drawing it, I said to myself, Ben might have an accident on the recording in the pool, because I think
in my pool.
I think you're going to be like, are you serious? So, but I and I knew it was a good one because Nicole's not a huge fan. She watches them, I think, to appease Marcus and I. But she saw it and she was like, oh my God, that's super cool. So I thought, for sure, this one's the winner. There's a couple in here that I think are pretty good. They might rival like the Black Panther one. The Deadpool that I did a couple of years ago.
I mean, your Marcinebo Deadpool is pretty iconic on what you pulled off there.
You're gonna like these ones. I think you're gonna like them. So we can start with those.
Let's
get them out of the way.
Let's do it.
Okay. So let's do that. We'll start with these two here. So I'm gonna read you this is a phrase that I tell my wife all the time when we're almost in like that. You've been married for a while, so you get that you still love me, or like you argue a little bit, but I still love you, and whatever.
Yeah.
It's something I do all the time, but I love you still. So then this is the title to this image.
Shut up. Somebody get the pool net out and scoop this. Somebody get the pool net. I'm sorry. Let it just let's just wash it that way.
I thought it was hilarious. I love the vintage Wolverine, the yellow outfit, and then when it turns into the brown with the little stripes on the side. I'm not a big fan of when they make them all black and they all have the black. I like that individually. The individual. All right, the wind is blowing out here. Like, let me get all this for one of these that does end up in the lake.
Yeah, that would be a travesty, especially that one.
Yeah. So then, all right. So then that's that one, and then this one is again, it's just a vintage, and I had to do him.
With the cigar.
Yeah.
Come on.
And this was his. This one is just titled "You Gotta Love a Good Cigar," because I know that Logan always has. He's wearing the leather jacket and looking all badass, and then he's got. But
remember when he was in X-Men First Class and he had that one cameo, and he was smoking a cigar at the bar?
All right, and then where do you want to go from here? What else? Where do you want to go? To
what's up next for you?
Or...
Yeah, let's do some Snoopies.
Yeah, we'll save the stuff and the Chuck Jones stuff for last. Let's do the Snoopy. So, the Snoopy's always been a crazy thing, man. I did it. I think the first couple of years, and I would only do one. I was very leery of doing Snoopy's and the relationship with them. You know what I mean? It's just always a weird thing. But this one, I don't think I've ever done a Red Baron, so I wanted to do something that I thought would be super cool.
Wait, you've never done a Red Baron?
I don't believe so. I don't recall ever doing a Red Baron. So this year I did two of them. Sort of the Snoopy and the flight. So here they are. He's flying it, and then you have a little blue in the bottom as he's dropping a love bomb. And this one is
That's
titled "Find Your New Home," and it's just basically I don't know, is the atmosphere that we're currently in, sort of a little, dropping a little love bombs, not the worst thing that can happen here. So there's
dude.
that. Here's a little
Yeah,
that little.
I love Snoopy as the flying ace. It's probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite iteration of Snoopy.
It's always cool that, and the what's there's the cousin with the mustache and the hat. Um, what is that? You know what I'm talking about. I think Tom Everhart's done a couple of them. That was fantastic.
Oh, they are.
And then this is the second one. So here
Spike.
is this one is called Mission Spread the Love. So here
Oh,
is all the planes in the background, the three little blues in the bottom, and
shut
then
up, dude.
there's Snoop right there.
Come on.
Boom.
I mean, you got to have a blast doing this stuff, especially because the whole blue Woodstock mix, it just like feeds itself perfectly into a mashup.
Exactly. It's you see it and you're like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen here. And it debated on whether to have the doghouse up in the air and sort of like dropping out of the bottom. But I thought it'd just be cool, just have them sitting on the roof and just lobbing them off. It's just I don't know. It's a funner. Hey, who doesn't like lobbing things? You know what I
I
mean?
love lobbing things. Yeah. You want to watch me
So
lob my pig into the pool in a minute? I might do that. Peter.
Peter. All right. So oh man. All right. Let me see. We'll hold off for the Chuck stuff for last. And then so here's the drawing that I did it digitally that caused some stress. And this is just my character Molly as
Ahsoka, isn't it?
Ahsoka. So there she is.
Dude. So
So there.
I texted you. I texted you after this. This wasn't even a message I put
Yeah.
into whatever your post was. And I'm like, look, man, look.
Yeah.
Like I love all your Star Wars stuff. I think you kill it all over the place with that. For this is it's you
Yeah.
have so many great pieces. It's hard for me to but I think it just edged over the top.
Yeah. I
I
think
mean
it's
it's too perfect.
my daughter loved the fact that I still kept the unicorn, the little horn up top. She loved that part of it. Yeah, it's a ton of people, and this is actually it's actually a painting. I think it's a 14 by 18 at home. Um, already the color combination. I'm working a little bit of the orange, so it'll be an orange and gray mix, and I figured that
All right.
baby blue off bouncing off the orange will look fantastic. So that'll be that will get done, and then that'll be offered to Chuck Jones once it gets completed. And the next one is another mashup, which I've done before. Is I've taken a Dragon Boy, turned him into the Mandalorian, and then I took again Molly and turned her into Ahsoka, and took Draco and turned him into the Kang.
Shut up. Come on.
So yeah, this was like a last minute thing, and I was like, I don't want him holding a gun. I figured it's you got to put the staff in there.
The best
So
Star Spear, man.
yeah. So and then she's holding
That's
the sabers
incredible.
both here and here, and then I added him here just to balance the piece out because I thought this was a little too empty on this side. So I'm like, oh,
Yes.
let's just throw him in there all angry. So
I love it. Oh, dude, I love it. Yes. He's going to force
yeah,
choke something. I don't know what it is, but he's going to force choke something. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and then this is the one that I stoked the minute I did it, and this probably will be a painting too. Don't know when, but I think it's one that needs to be done. So it is Marcin Evo as Cad Bane.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. And I
There
don't
he is.
mean that in a mean way. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's
You haven't done that at all.
No. This is one of these things that this morning as I was doing some stuff, I was like, oh my god, I love that scene because it reminds me it's so Clint Eastwood. The Good, the Bad, and the
Yes.
Love List, or Fistful of
Yes.
Dollars. That's exactly what that is. And I did it, and the first thing I thought of was like an all beige background, sandy colors. The fact that his face is blue, his eyes are red. You know what I mean? The rest of his outfit is all brown except for his bands on his forearms are blue. And I thought, I'm like, oh my god, this thing's gonna be amazing painting that. My son asked me a good question. He's like, I go, how are you gonna? He's got red eyes. How are you gonna do that? And I was like, well, the X will be red, and so will his button. So then
Right.
that's how that balances out. Yeah. So I'm
Wait.
looking forward
So
to paint that.
you are painting that?
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to get painted. That's 100%. 100% will be painted. Yeah, because it's just
Are you?
it reminds me of I did it for these guys maybe 7 or 8 years ago, where it's Anakin Marcinevo is
Yeah.
his
Oh yeah.
Anakin. But the shadow, it's the poster. The shadow is Darth
Yes.
Vader. It's probably one of my favorite ones I've done. Um, that's what this reminds me of. I think it's at that level because of the beige and the sand and the way the buildings look. It'll
Yep.
look amazing. So that'll get painted for sure. Um, no doubt. And then here are the two. So Scott reached out to me and he said that Sylvester and Tweety. So I growing up, I always loved the son. Sylvester's son. He always said, Father, can you catch me a mouth? So I love that. I always thought it was hilarious. And I didn't want it to be where Sylvester, sort of like the pieces I've done in the past, where the Roadrunner is, Wiley's waiting with a fork and a spoon and the whole nine. I thought it would be funner to have. So laughter is what we're after. And then this is where
Oh,
Marston is Granny.
come on. That is brilliant.
So
Holy crap.
I laughed once again because it's just Marson Evo as a granny. Dude, seriously.
It's like Bugs. It's like when they all like dress up, and they go after like the female disguises and stuff. Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. I love it.
So that is I laughed doing the whole thing. I seen it and I was like, man, come on. That's just Marson Evo with I'm not gonna go into it, but you see it. And then so this one is called It's a Win-Win. I'll just leave it at that. So you have Tweety, and then there's Blue, and the little love bomb is a flying bomb, so it has the little wings, and so everybody's happy. Little does he know, little does Sylvester know that there's the plot here, and I had to put little Tweety's hands behind his back like he's playing innocent there, like I don't know what's happening here, but they know the birds are up to
Dude,
no good.
that is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, this is a good. I enjoy doing this one too, just because the face, like it just seems clueless, like what's happening to you, buddy. You've fallen for it again.
Dude. So are you doing those as limiteds?
What the plan is? This one has already been started right
Perfect.
here, because I just I like the fact that they're all laughing and their Sylvester's hugging her. I use a couple of references online for this, and I'm like, this, opposed to having them chase each other or the granny clubbing them over the head with a broom. I just thought it'd be better to portray a more positive atmosphere to it. So this is the one that it's being painted and will be done. We'll get a limited out of that. So
Wheat.
for sure. Yeah, it'll be fun. I brought, I think, every color that I could fit into my backpack and brought it up here, a couple of cases and all the brushes and everything else. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know for sure that the Cad Bane piece, this will be done. This will be painted, and I will offer that to Chuck Jones as well. And so will Ahsoka.
So are you doing both those the same size? Like they could be twinsies on the wall?
They'll be 14. They'll be both 14 by 18, 18 by 14 on wood. Yeah.
Dude.
So that's the plan on those, and so it'll be cool. I've enjoyed doing doing those. I like it opposed to rushing them and just letting them go through, and it'll be fun. Plus, I never
So
give Chuck Jones anything throughout the year. I've always wondered that, like, why, like, I only do it once a year. Why not do it throughout the year? One here, one there. So
somehow I don't think they're going to be. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
I don't. I would just Scott's like,
I'm like, I'm sitting here like, all right, we're gonna buy property next to us. Can we just take some of that? How big's the loan? Can we fit just a little bit more in there and just give me those before they're done?
Yeah, I'll show you the process as we go. I'll share with you.
I will not ever say no to that at all. Be like, hey dude, I gotta go to Trader Joe's and drive an hour. You wanna do lunch and I accidentally come over to your house? I mean, you're right there. It's 6 minutes.
That's
Oh,
true. That's
dude,
true.
that which is what she does. Wait, are you going to go see Fabio? Yeah. Could you take the cooler, please? Because we don't have a Trader Joe's. And then here's the list of what I need you to buy. Sure, I got that.
That's
So
funny.
I love the mashups, dude. Killer stuff. Everything. I'm obviously Marvel, Star
Mhm.
Wars, and you get all the goodies in, and then you do the Looney Tunes mashups. I'm still Marson Evo as Granny is just freaking brilliant. It's so
Yeah, yeah, man. I was trying to figure out how to put him in there, and I was like, he has to be. And then why not, man? Like that, just the way Granny looks and the hair and
it
everything
fits
about
perfect.
Granny.
Like yes, it fits perfect. So when we're on the floor this year, and it's just going to
Mhm.
be throngs and throngs and throngs of people staring and purchasing and doing all of this stuff with all these cool pieces that you've got. Um, is there? Do you have a Comic Con moment like from out there, like being out there that you were like, I can't believe this happened?
Oh man, I wish I had the picture. And maybe if I find it on my phone, I'll send it to Scott to throw it in there. One of the coolest things ever was we were sitting waiting for William Shatner to show up, and when he finally did, he was in, and this is Kate Bowerman was there at the time, and she was trying to get him to paint something on a painting, and he was hesitant, and she was like, please paint on this, and he was hesitant, but he did it. But that is not the coolest part of the whole thing. It was the gentleman who was dressed as Spock, a foot above everybody else, with his cell phone, like taking a picture of Shatner, which was, I will send it to you, man. It is the funniest thing on the planet. And then on top of that, it's my buddy Dan. You've met my buddy Dan, and then my son Marcus, and then me. And Marcus goes, "Is that the Priceline guy?" And
Oh,
my
dude.
friend Dan goes to me, he goes, "You shut your mouth,"
Like
because to
not that is
Marcus,
your
he just
inside
doesn't.
voice.
Yeah. So, but that is one of the coolest pictures that I remember from Comic Con. There's been a ton of good times. I think once I did a learn to draw, sitting there, and we had this adorable little girl, sort of at the head of the table, and she told me I was doing it wrong. I was drawing my
Really?
Sanico wrong. Oh my god, it was so funny. She told me I was doing it wrong, and I was like, "I'm doing it wrong." She goes, "Yeah, you do this part first," and then the mom was like, "Oh no, 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 just let him do it, honey." And I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was hilarious because I'm like, "Here's this little girl. She's telling me I'm doing it wrong," and I'm like, "Well, how am I supposed to do it?" And then we're going back and forth during this little I don't know how many kids they had there, maybe 8 or 10 kids, but that's one of the parts that always cracked me up. I always enjoyed going there, man. There was a ritual to doing Comic Con. We would go a day or two before. We'd go to Laguna, then we'd always go to an Urban Outfitter, and we'd find some Warner Brothers related shirts, and then we would wear those to literally we'd do like a little outing. We'd go and have breakfast around the corner, right on the beach, and then we go to the Urban Outfitters, and we'd all would get shirts. Like I would buy shirts for me and
Oh,
my buddy Dan, and we would all get shirts. And then every time we go, Mike would always go like, "Where do you get your shirts?" I'm like, "It's out Urban Outfitters. It's nothing
come on.
crazy. It's like $10. Where this is what we do, and and it's that I miss that going there a little early, seeing things, go around the corner, either left or right. Great restaurants, and
Yep.
then we'd always grab a cocktail prior to the show. And then we'd always grab a bite. Either back then we would do it with Kate. Kate would go and get tacos with us up the street. And then sometimes we would just go with some collectors that I hung out the night, and we'd go get something to eat, and then we'd Uber back home, back home, back to the hotel. But it was always a fun time seeing the stormtroopers go down, or the zombies, or it's always good, always good.
That's awesome. Well, this is my first year of being there. Like it's a bucket list thing to go into
Mhm.
San Diego Comic Con, right? I've never been in.
Oh wow.
I've been, yeah, I've been outside once, but never been in. So this is, I'm gonna nerd out. Like I've done
Mhm.
C2E2 out in Chicago and stuff like that, which is a fantastic show. But this is like the thing. So I'm super stoked to do that. We're at booth 1815. So you're watching, you're like, where are these guys at? Booth 1815. We're almost
Eight.
dead center in the show. It's
Oh wow.
brilliant. It's a great spot. Yeah, dude, it's a sweet location. So by all means, come on out. Which speaking of, kind of leads us into a little bit of doing this, and
Mhm.
this is my fourth year, maybe third year, fourth year. Yeah, starting in maybe 2020, I think is what it was for me for doing Comic Con, and did a couple pieces, and then did some other stuff, and then they, like I said, they just let you off the chain, and they're like, go do whatever you want. So
Mhm.
like this year, now I didn't do the mashup on this. I went for four pieces, and I said, okay, if there was anything, like you and I were thinking exactly along the same lines,
Mhm.
and I'm like, you got to do a Wolverine Deadpool, and I'm like, man, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna paint it, and if I'm gonna paint Wolverine and Deadpool, I'm gonna go straight up with this. No mashup, but I'm gonna go. I haven't painted human flesh since high school,
Wow.
and then I started this process where, because I was watching guys do it online, and they sketch, and they marker the stuff, then they just wash over it with like orange oxide,
Yeah.
or I'll go like with a medium purple. I've never done that, and I'm like, you know what? Screw this, man. I only have like 3.5 weeks to do this. Let's test something new, see how that works. Instead of something tried and true. So I did that, and I did purple on one, and I did orange oxide on the other three. This was one,
Mhm.
and man, did I love it. So I figured I've got to have a Hugh Jackman Wolverine. And you obviously can't tell it's Ryan Reynolds in the suit, but it's the Ryan Reynolds thing. Well, the day I even texted you, the day I
Yeah.
freaking finished this thing, I put him in the brown and yellow. Okay. No mask on, just brown and yellow. The freaking day I finished this painting, right, which I only have like 4 days to let it dry and then ship it, he comes out with the picture of Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman in the freaking blue and yellow suit. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You could have done this like last week. So Scott's going to show the picture of it online. I've got it on my right here, but it's 30 by 24. So claws
Wow. That's
out, stuff's blowing up in the background. That was the piece. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do that. I've got a feeling, and then I said, I'm a big Batman the Animated Series fan.
Mhm.
I did all oils this year. And I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna concoct this thing. I need him. Like the Batman animated series Batmobile is my second all time favorite Batmobile. So I've got models of it. I mean, I got the, like, the toy that's like only adults should have, because you would never give this to a child, you know. And so I'm like, okay, if I did this, I need the pose. So I did an 18 by 36, and so Scott will show the image on that, but then 18 by 36, and it was I had to, bat symbol in the background, and that was cool. I'm like, all right, this will be my non-mashup stuff. And
Mhm.
you and I both have an affinity for Alex Ross, the Gouache Father, right? Kind of king of all comic art. And man, a super cool guy. I'm so fortunate I got the chance to hang with him a bit when he was up at my studio when I was up in Chicago with friends of ours, mutual friends of ours, and just one of the super nicest, most down to earth guys. And he doesn't have to be if he didn't want to be, because that
Mm-hmm.
dude is internationally famous. And you wouldn't just by meeting him, man, super humble. So there
Wow.
was pieces that I've wanted to do, and in Chuck homage and Alex Ross homage. In Chuck homage, I
Mm-hmm.
will only ever use Bugs in his super bug suit, not the Superman S, but the baggy pajama style. He's got to have a carrot
Mm-hmm.
because that's what makes him fly, all that kind of good stuff. And then that's it. So there's a Superman, a legendary Superman of, he's got up with one hand down and he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of arcing over in space over the earth. And I've always wanted to do this. I hadn't done it yet. And so I'm like, he's eating 4 carrots. I got 4 kids. There's 4 carrots. He's eating all 4 carrots because you need that power to get out into space. And there was my
That's cool.
Alex Ross homage. So that was a 16 by 20. And then the last one, he did this Batman cover, and it's at night and it's purpley and it's teals and all that kind of stuff, like eerily lit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sitting on top of this like steeple, right, with these statues, like angel statues and stuff. And I knew like Batsuit Wiley will never be in the Batman suit for me, like the DC Batsuit. He's always in the green one because that's Chuck. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stay true to that, and that is funnier for the mashup to me. But I put him in all these scenarios. So I looked at this. I painted the background purple on it first, and then I went after it. And I'm like, no, we're going to do the night. So Alex Ross as the night becomes the Coyote Knight, right? Complete with 4 statues. Look at that. My
Mm-hmm.
children make it into some of these, all Roadrunners. And so that was the thing. And I'm like, that is what I want to pull off for the show this
Very
year.
cool.
So it's not Ahsoka. It's not Cad Bane. It's just a little something I threw some paint on, and like let's see what works.
It's still very clever, my friend. That's the the last one's stellar. Try not to drop any F bombs here, so it's I keep editing myself. Like
I mean,
it's
Scott can put
dude,
the
yeah,
bleep in.
yeah, that's a great piece, man. That's no doubt. It's
Thank
the
you,
way he's sitting on top, the color combination of the green and the purple in the back. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
thank you.
Yeah,
I
it's
had as soon as I saw
the
him do the
bugs.
cover.
I've seen these, so I'm like the Bugs Bunny one had me, but then the Wile E. Coyote one's like, it's
Edge
yeah,
out.
that's a good one. That's a good one. It's
Thank
it's
you,
a
man.
it's a good
I
one.
I, I love I love him. And like there's so many great Alex Ross pieces that he's done, just
Mm-hmm.
in general. But I sent like the last couple, and I'd send it to my buddies, and then they were like, "Hey, dude, we showed him," and I'm like, "What?" And then they're like, "Yeah, dude, he approves," and I'm like, "Shut up." And I'm like, just a little piece, just and then you're like,
It,
"Ma, I'm in a pool now, so it doesn't make a difference. It can just whatever. It's been we got a saltwater pool. It's fine. It cleans itself.
exactly.
So yeah, I love this stuff. This is one of my favorite times to
Mm-hmm.
pull this off. So here's the booth lineups. We've got you. Well, not in person, but we have you at the
Mm-hmm.
booth. We've got obviously we have Chuck. We've got myself. We've got Stephen Reis, I think, is going to be there, which would be awesome because that dude does some wicked cool stuff. But I believe we have Stephen Reis. We've got Dan Bowden. We've got you. We've got Chuck, and we've got myself. We've got Eric Bauza. And if you don't know who Eric Bauza is, for one, he's an extremely talented artist. Like the dude creates some wicked stuff. But
Hmm.
he is also the voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Marvin the Martian, and he won an Emmy for Bugs Bunny, which is the first time Bugs Bunny
Oh,
has ever won an Emmy. Yeah, which is if you what I love about this guy. I mean, I love a lot of things about this guy, but not only is he an extremely awesome guy, just a down to earth man, but his talent, his love, and his passion for what he does and who he's like following, specifically
mm-hmm.
Mel Blanc. And he pays ultimate homage to that. That guy is a student of him, and he's got his
Wow.
own thing and he is true to character for these characters. So we're excited to have Eric Bauza. That's awesome. 1 p.m. every day at the booth. 1815. 1815. It's a 1 and an 8 and a 1 and a 5. Who wants another? Who wants another
I think they
MyStar
should
lemonade?
sneak
Let's get the
in
peach.
a Sinatra. It was a very good year. 1815. It was a very good
Was
year.
a very good year. Yeah. Why? Because we also had S. Preston in the booth. Did you see how I worked that in? Effortlessly. Effortlessly worked in S. Preston in the booth. Thank you very much. So he's coming in on Friday. That's awesome. So Preston does these amazing, like the guy's all over the place. NHL, NBA, the MLB, and he's got the license for all the sports stuff. He mashes up characters into these things for teams. He does some incredible, iconic, just graphic images that are sold all over the place and they sell out. So we're excited, and he's just an awesome, cool dude to hang out with. So Preston will be in the booth on Friday. That's fantastic. And then we are at the Comic-Con Museum, which is there's a shuttle running every 30 minutes. It's free.
That's
And we're
cool.
going to be there from 2:30 to 4:45. So you're like, let's draw with Fabio time. So we're going to draw with Ben and whoever else we have there, and it's going to be how to draw some of the characters. We're going to make your own Martian maggot airplane, and check this out. So I'm on the phone with these guys, right? We're going to do a doodle wall section. You can go up and they have some Chuck doodles. You can add to that, where you can use Model Magic clay and you can make your own creature. But I'm on the phone with the Comic-Con Museum guys, right? Super awesome people. And they showed me the room. And they're like, this is the room and stuff. You know what that room has? It's on the second floor. It has a balcony. I made an X that's 4 by 4 feet. It's going in the lawn outside. And every 20 minutes, we're going to have a whose Martian maggot flies the farthest off the balcony.
Stellar idea.
I just walk right out of camera view. We drop the mic and we're done. Okay. That's it. That's all it is. This is a real pool. And I have a suit on, as you can see.
That's a stellar idea. Who doesn't want to do that?
Isn't it?
Exactly.
I'm gonna do it every 20 minutes. So, and then they will bring the planes. Here's the best part. It doesn't just stay down. So it's whoever lands closest to the X, right? You get a high five. And then they bring all the planes back up for us. So if you want to take your Martian maggot home with you, dude, it's fine. So I'm stoked about that. And then we're back. So I'm on Friday. Scott will tell me if 10 a.m. is wrong, but I believe I'm there live at 10 a.m. to whenever. And then 2:30 at the Comic-Con Museum. Scott said yes, so I did get that correct. And then Saturday we've got people showing up all day long. I'm there at 4. Come and hang out. We're probably running around the floor when we're not on. And so come around and hang out and run around the floor with us too. Because I've never been there before and I paid off my credit card. So
well, I have never been in the convention center. I've always I've always just gone to Chuck. I've had the opportunity to go. I think Scott or Mike, someone, I want to say it was Scott, maybe, gave my son and nephew their cards to go in. And they did it once or twice, and they were in La La Land. And Marcus was like, that's too crazy in there. You'll lose your mind. To me, he's like,
wait, like too crazy, like there's just too much stuff.
Well, he said it's to them. It was overwhelming to them. I mean, they came back with a ton of pictures, a ton of Funkos, Marcus has things that are, they're only exclusives to when you go to the cons, the little Funko Pops and things like that. Cause he's got, I don't know how many of them, way too many, but they enjoyed it. They had their pictures taken with all the pretty ladies and the costumes.
They're like, it's Electra. So, yeah, we need to get a picture with Electra. Which one is that? I don't know, but let's get a picture with that one also.
There's a lot of Ivies here. Let's get them all.
Yes, yeah. There are. There are a lot of Ivies, and things are blooming. So I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Go Marcus.
The fact.
Yeah. It's I'm stoked. Like there's some stuff that's going on too, and a couple of panels that I want to hit that I'm like, oh, because I know some of the people that are doing it. and like some animation stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
what's cool too about the Comic-Con Museum is they got this whole big animation exhibit going on. So this just dovetails into what we're doing with the Chuck Jones Center, and we'll do a couple of things there too while we're at the booth. So it's going to be a blast, man. This is my bucket list thing. Checking it off, and we're gonna go
Very
have some
cool.
fun.
Very
I got a
cool.
feeling like if the two of us at the same time were on the floor.
No, I
I'm
think it'd probably be the first and last time that would occur.
no, I agree. Which would mean it's go big or go home, right?
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
then
much.
like, hold
Yeah.
on a second. No, we got the show thing. Like you would have your show time and stuff, and I've got whatever time I'm on, right? And then there's the runaround time, and in between the time, it's like, how did you find the real Stormbreaker and bring that back? Like, where is that? How did you get the authentic prop? How much did that cost? To which we're like, look,
Yeah.
I don't even know because all I did was say swipe. Okay. And I turned
Yeah.
off my notifications so that the credit card notification doesn't come to me saying what I just spent. We'll figure out how to get
That's
this on the plane. And I'm like, I asked Fabio and he said it was fine. He said it was fine. And then you get Mjolnir, right? And so we got Mjolnir and Storm. I mean, you can have whichever one you want. I'll take the little one, like the movie. If you want to be like, you have the little one, that's fine. I'll take Mjolnir again. I don't have a problem with that. You know? And oh, dude. So I thought
what
about bringing my Star-Lord suit.
what I tell my wife all the time is like, how are we gonna ship this home? It's they'll ship this or they're whatever. I'm like, just put it in our UPS account. That's my answer to everything. Just start on the UPS
Yes.
account. Start on the UPS account. It's art, right? Okay, it's business.
It's
That's the way that
business.
works.
It's business because you know what? You need these things in order to draw like replica stuff and everything. And like, did I get it? Did I get it film accurate?
Exactly.
Do you
That's
know?
my
Do you know?
our accountant says. Why don't you guys when you go on vacation, why don't you reach out to some galleries and see if they want to talk to you? That's what she says all the time. Like, oh,
You know what?
okay.
My accountant says the same thing. And he's like, what are you going to use that for? And I'm like, well, I'm going to use that for this, this, and this. He's like, for a painting? I'm like, yeah, right off. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Man, I
Yeah,
love
no,
being in business for
little Keith
myself.
Haring statues and things like that. I don't know if you've seen it, but the trooper on the bike from Return of the Jedi that's sitting on, yeah. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
a collector was like, you admired mine when you were at the home, and here's one for you. It's a little bigger, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna buy that, and I will have to paint one at some point with Mars and Evo on it. So
I mean,
because a
it's
couple of
only
Keith
fuel for
Haring.
the imagination.
Exactly.
Yes.
A couple Keith Haring
Come on.
stuff and just little things here and there. And you're just like, Nikki will ask me, like, what is that? I'm like, it's inspirational. I could do something for Chuck Jones a year from now.
It's 2024. All right. It's 2024. Babe, I'm planning ahead. Okay. Like this is me saying this is what
Exactly.
I'm gonna do next year. It'll be fine. And yeah, mine knows not to even bother. Like it's not why even bother asking. It's like it's just gonna
Exactly.
happen. Okay. It's
Don't
just gonna
question the
happen.
gene. Don't question it.
Do you want to eat? Do you want to eat eventually? Like I gotta make some stuff. Like this is how it happens. This is how the sausage gets made. Yeah.
It's so fun. I tell my kids the same thing. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm working. We're on vacation. I'm like, why do you think we're on vacation? Because I create these things.
This
Just give me a little bit. Go enjoy yourself. That's what we
give me a
do.
half
You know
an
what I mean?
hour.
It's
Yes.
dude. Listen. We could have way worse jobs in the planet. This is the best thing. The fact that this is what we do for a living, and people like us as individuals, like the art, and then we work with Chuck Jones and are able to uh, do things with characters that I remember being a kid, just sitting at home and just like, and then now here I am, 50, almost 51 years old, and this is what I do. You know what I mean? Once a year, I get asked to put the characters I've created with Sylvester and Granny, and I'm like, it's still surreal, man. It's like I'm sitting
Like
here at my
pinch.
in-laws' home, and I'm sitting on their front porch, beautiful weather, and I'm doodling, and that's what I'm doing. that is what I'm doing. I'm like if the thought of complaining about anything crosses your mind, you're just like, have another cup of coffee, you meathead, and this is what you're doing. So it's a blessing no matter how you look at it. Again, you're in
I
your pool, waiting for your pig to dive in, and I'm sitting at the end
Peter,
of a boat, and yeah. And
where'd the pig go?
this is what we're
Yeah.
doing. We're having a conversation for the Chuck Jones Gallery because we get to paint their stuff, which is
Yeah, I
super
have to
cool.
say the fact that my dad has said this to me, and he's they'll come over and they'll see some of the stuff I'm working on, and they'll be like, well, that's funny, or that's cool, and they'll look through the stuff, and my dad numerous times has been like, son, look what you get to do, and I'm like, I know. I was not born to be an accountant, which is why I hire one.
Yeah.
Right. I couldn't do that, so numbers scare me. But yeah, it's an absolute blessing, and I love this time of the year because one, we get to mash these things up, we get to just create all kinds of cool stuff. Two, I get to hang out with super cool people, and man, and you already know, and I'm not going to gush on you too much. I have the utmost respect for you, and both creatively and personally, and so it's just a thrill to be able to be in the same circus. We're in same there's three rings, we're all dancing around and stuff, but we're in the same circus, and it's just a blast because I'm continually inspired by the stuff that you do, by the stuff that Preston does, by the stuff that Stephen Reis does. Obviously super inspired. All this inspiration comes from Chuck. Funneling him through, and I'm like, man, am I doing it justice for Chuck? Is it just something I'm creating, or does it have that what I took from Chuck, what he imbued in me, even though I never got to meet him, but all the books that I read and all the stuff. So it's just a blast, man. Well, I got to say, I think we did fantastic on time. I would just like that to be known.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing. We covered quite a few things.
My dogs are chasing another dog that's on a four-wheeler in the back. A cow may walk by at some point. I have no idea. It just kind of gets batty around here. I'm looking forward to a boat passing behind you, and it's just a party boat with stuff going on.
Well, it's the funny thing is, I think when we first started, it was a couple of kids, maybe in their early 20s. They were zooming through, and then they slowed right down through here. I think they were just curious, why is that guy sitting in the back of a boat on an iPad talking to whatever? Why isn't he inside his house? And they just took their time going by, and then a couple of sea-doos went by. But I think it's just I'm blocking the view of it. But anyway,
I mean, if any cons
I think you obviously do it too, and I do it. Is I feed off other people's of their best qualities, and I find that whether it be other artists on Instagram or you or Jasmine Beckett Griffith or anybody else who does, people that I'm in, Tom Everhart, any of those guys, I look at them and I'm like, my game is slacking a little bit. I need to do something else. Or if I'm doing something and then I see, even like your color combinations on some of your pieces, I'm like, that's pretty stellar. That's a cool combination. And that feeds you. You know what I mean? I think when, as an artist, if you think your doesn't stink and you don't admire other people, I don't think you're going to grow. And I think that's where people like me and you and other artists, that do these characters and are in what we do enjoy is you need to look at other people, admire their work, learn from it too, because we're all not perfect in what we do here. You know what I mean? We started with a gift, and that gift only grows because we expand and we sort of understand our own flaws. Do you know what I mean? And I think you learn from that, and that's what makes you a better artist, is when you're able to see a flaw in what you do or gain from someone admiration, for Alex Ross and things like that. You definitely learn from that guy. I mean, I don't walk by a piece that I have in my home and be like, God damn, how does he do that? You know what I mean?
Yes,
I see it. Yep. I'm like, this guy, I hate him, but I love him at the same time. It's like, how does he do that? You know, it's like, and then I think to myself, I'm like, okay, you listen, you created a character that people love. Calm down. You know, it's and you see things like that. I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that? That's the part that I think that
Yes.
I think drives us as artists is like you look at something and you're like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think
Yep.
that is a brilliant concept, man? You know, Wile E. Coyote on top and the gargoyle heads being the road runner. That's a brilliant concept. It's like, why has that not been done before? Do you know what I mean? You ever think of that? You're
Yeah.
like, this,
Yo.
it's right there in front of you. You know, it's like,
Yes.
how did someone else not see that? But you see it and you're like, me, you know.
Aha! Yes. Did I get it done?
You're like,
Get it
it's
done.
mine
Is it
now.
in? Yeah. Well, I had what I love about it, and especially like as you get to know like all you guys, and nobody in this circle comes at it with a closed fist, where they're like, "This is mine, and you can't see this,"
Yeah.
or like you've got like some technique that you've tried out, or maybe you're sharing a frustration or something, or whatever, and that there's an or you find something out there, you're like, "Dude, this totally worked." Everybody's got an open hand. Like it's that constant like collaborate, share, talk about whatever.
Yeah.
And it's what's been like incredibly heartwarming about all this is everybody that we're with on these things, everybody's humble. Like nobody thinks that highly of themselves to where they're like, look at me and the air that I'm in. No, dude, we're all breathing the same air, and that whole idea of keeping the open hand is what keeps that drive going that we just kind of feed off of, which I totally agree with you because
Exactly.
yeah. So
Well,
I get
you
it,
know,
dude. I love it.
yeah, it keeps you. I think it keeps you fresh, man. I think you see some artists and you're like, it doesn't grow or you don't see an improvement in it. But I think when you feed off other artists that have the same interest, I think it drives you to be a better artist. It's the artwork I did 15 years ago. It is completely different than the stuff I do today. Of course, that's a part of growing as an artist. You improve yourself, but it's also a part of now traveling and looking at
Yep.
other people that have been that
Mm-hmm.
are the cornerstones or the basement to the foundation of where you are in that gallery, in that brick and mortar. These guys help build that. Now you're a brick in that as well. But I think for you to continue to be a part of that growing concept, you take everything from everybody that's put in and you grow. But if you stay stagnant, I'm like, this is me, this is what I'm doing, screw the rest of the world, I think that's where you get left behind. And it doesn't really serve you as an individual or an artist to grow if you're not building relationships with other artists. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
that's the best thing. You might not like, oh, that's great art. I don't have it in my home, but I'm learning something from you. I think
Yes.
I think that's the keystone to it all. And that's how you keep growing and being creative. That's the thing too. I think it's being creative. Other artists give you the fuel to keep doing what you're doing. And if
Mm-hmm.
you think you know it all, then you don't.
Oh, you
You
don't
don't.
like not even remotely close. So that leads to like I'd say our let's say our final piece of advice to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
because like some people that watch this and maybe they're into the art thing or they want to get into this stuff, or how do you do this, or maybe they're just they're going through art school, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is. I've got one that rings true. That when I went to go visit this dude's studio, super awesome guy, and I'll explain that in a second. But I'm gonna let you go first. What was one artist that you were, like you look up to, or that influenced you in some way, or whatever, that you're chatting back and forth, and they gave you something, and maybe a piece of advice or just a word to said, and you took it to heart, and you've applied it.
Um, I when I first started, Michael Goddard and Todd White, both two completely different individuals, two completely sets of art, but they they gave me the advice of, the galleries are one thing and other artists are a different thing. And you're the galleries want you for who you are now. You know what I mean? And you have to continue that way, but stay true to who you are. Do the things that you love, enjoy it, keep growing and learning. Take criticism for what it is. That's the one thing. Take criticism, whether you like it or not. There's always something to learn from it. You may not like it. Somebody may tell you your stuff is the worst. I've had people tell me my stuff is so simple. And I'm like, well, is that simple? Why aren't you doing it? So, that it's simple, and it is, and I understand that. It's the message that for me, it's the message you relay in the artwork, whether it's a simple Keith Haring heart, like Keith Haring was very simple, but the message behind it was strong. And that's what I got from those guys. Stay true to yourself, stay true to your message, and just learn from other people. Just learn from the artists that are around you. There's some great people that I've been around for 20, 30 years. You can learn from that. Whether you speak to them personally or not, watch the art, watch videos, how they paint, everything else. And that will help you become, you'll find something there from a mistake or something that you sparked in your imagination. You'll grow from that. And that's the one thing I took from those guys as they came up, because they were already super established when I got into it in 2008. They were already megastars, and they were both nice enough to reach out and speak to me, and I was just blown away by that, by the way they were. So I've always taken that into account and pass that forward. Even the simplest email from a 12-year-old that is my art good enough to get whatever, to get to this certain point, I answer back. I don't ignore them. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't get upset. Keep moving forward. And I think it's just, you take it, you learn from it, you pass it on to someone else, because you don't know, that kid may never use art again, but then he might be the next Picasso, and then he'll come back and credit you
never
because
know.
you answered an email.
There's numerous stories that happen, even like with Chuck and what he did with people that he influenced that we met. That were like, this is like, the dude just took like a half an hour, and it made an impact. Quick note, yes, Peter Porker did cross from one side to the other, and there's his butt right over there. Peter, where did he go? Oh, there's the pig. Yeah, he's going. All right. So I have one was, do you know who Peter DeSev is?
I do not.
Oh, dude, you got to check this guy out. He's been around for a long time. He does like New Yorker covers and all that. His sketching style is raw and it's gorgeous. He does concept character design for like Pixar and Disney, and you go on and name it, and his stuff is incredible. Well, I had one of the guys that had Todd Carter, who's super awesome, like incredible animator, incredible artist, director. He spent some time with me, and as I was trying to, like, this is what I love doing. I was in my early 20s, and so he had this book of Peter DeSev. Well, I contacted Peter. I found Peter, not the pig, Peter DeSev, and contacted him and was like, hey, I got this book. This is what this guy is doing for me. I would love to get this autograph. Can I send this to you? And would you mind autograph? Dude, the guy's big. Like, it's not like small time. Like, he's a big time artist. And he took the book. Not only did he sign it, he sketched his cowboy in it and sent it back. And then I got to give Todd this and be like, dude, thank you for everything you've done, right? This guy didn't have to give me the time of day at all, and I just reached out to him and said, here's someone who means a lot to me and is doing something for me. Would you be able to do something like this? I've already bought the book, it's already there, everything's, and it was, I mean, he bought the book, but and then John Rowe, who, I don't know if you know who John Rowe is. This guy, dude, he enters like exhibitions worldwide, and his photorealism and his portraits and full figures. I mean, he did the Maui Gym logo, like the parrot. That's him.
Okay.
Like, he painted it. Like, it was a painting. I've seen it. And I was out at his studio, and this dude, he spent like a couple hours with me, and I was just blown away because, again, John Rowe, like, Ben, genre, right? And so he went through
Hmm.
and all kinds of just advice and that kind of thing. And one thing that really stuck, like there's a lot of things that stuck that reverberated well, was if you have the opportunity, even an inkling, to fix something that you find before it goes, like you could leave something, but if it's bugging you, and you have the time, even if it's 5 minutes, do what you can in the 5 minutes. Because some of us get into the habit of like, well, it's just got to go, and then something, it. It's there's something that's
Hmm.
got to get corrected, but you don't correct it and you let it go, and it eats at you. And so he had made that point, and he's like, just it's going to happen to you, and it did. It has happened to me, and took the time, finished it, fixed whatever it was. You budget accordingly and went off, and that always stuck with me. Was just to make sure, like, he goes, you're responsible for the quality of your own stuff, and so is that what you want to go out, and like you'll get to a point, and you might be good with it at that point, but if you come back on it and it's something that's really, don't let it go.
Hmm.
If you can, don't let it go. So that was something that just it I've had it happen, I can't even tell you how many times,
Yeah.
especially in the design world, and you just take your time, you fix it, and you make it right. So super awesome guy, love that guy, incredible artist, incredible human. Anyway, so kids, adults, if you're watching, which you are at this point, hopefully, there's advice passed down to us, passed on to you.
Hmm.
Make it stick, do something with it, and then no amount of hard work. There's no substitute for hard work. Period. What
Fact.
time were we texting? What was it? 1 o'clock in the morning or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing? I know. Like, I'm behind. Well, what are you on right now? This thing. Well, that looks cool. Thanks. What time is it? I don't know. 1:30. Okay.
Yeah.
So put in the work. Well, a sign off message for the audience, because they all love you and they want to hear from you. So what is your sign off for everybody for the CJ 2023 Comic Con extravaganza?
Well, I'm sad that I wasn't able to be there. And I look forward to possibly at some point you and I causing some havoc and some people to be with us maybe, at some point. Again, this is I'm on vacation and I'm still doing work because I didn't want to miss doing something for these guys. I didn't. And I will do it every year as long as they want me to. I think it's again, it's another maybe my 13th feather in a cap. I enjoy doing these things and I enjoy doing it for them. I don't do it for anybody else, only for Chuck Jones. And every year just seems to be better. You and I have sparked a friendship, and I look forward to maybe grabbing lunch again at Seasons 52 when we're back in Orlando. So,
I'm
that
in.
I hope everybody has a great summer, and till next time, I guess.
So yeah, and yes, absolutely, and thank you for jumping on and doing this. As
Yeah.
always, grand slam home runs on all the pieces. I already told Stephanie. I said, look, I we're gonna buy some stuff, and she already knows. So there's no complaint on the thing. It's not like, well, to be nope, done. But I love you, man, and I love the fact that you did this. It's an absolute blast. I love the fact that if people are watching this right now, I'm probably on a plane heading to San Diego, where I will hopefully get to meet many of you in person, and I will nerd out with all of you. And I may very well bring my Star-Lord suit because I have it now. I can't bring the blasters on the plane because I only do carry-ons, but we'll figure that out. So helmet and all, we'll see if we can do some Star-Lord and sign some stuff. So thank you everyone for watching. Booth 1815 we are in the hall, booth 1815, and then we are at the Comic-Con Museum from 2:30 to 4:45 on Friday. Rest of the time is hanging out with artists. You can check out chuckjonescatalog.com for all that information. That's chuckjonescatalog.com. Comic-Con is right at the top, and it's got the pieces that are available plus the artists that are showing. Thank you guys and have a great evening.